91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. All right, we just heard Flower Under by Knox Chandler from the new release called The Sound. Let me do a brief introduction, if I may, and then we'll get the maestro on himself. Knox Chandler is a multi-instrumentalist, musician, composer, arranger, producer, and educator. His career has spanned over 4 decades. He's best known for his work as a guitarist, cellist, and bass player. He's performed with the Psychedelic Furs,
Susie and the Banshees.
Susie and the Banshees, and Cyndi Lauper. Knox has also worked with REM, Depeche Mode, Grace Jones, Natalie Merchant, among countless others. He's recently released a solo album titled The Sound. And with that, a warm welcome to LocalMotion, Knox Chandler.
Hey, thanks.
Yay. Now, you and I, I'm going to ask you to get a little closer.
Okay.
That's better. Perfect. You and I met at the local.
Yes, I was playing with Bobby Previtt and Jamie Saft.
And I was sitting right in front of you, and I was like, how many instruments you had there, and just the way you were playing.
Just the cello and guitar, yeah.
But that was a lot. Most people don't play one or it's one or the other. It's not cello. You know what I'm saying? You know. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I started like Googling you. I'm like, I need to have you on my show. And that was quite some time ago. So thank you for the follow-up and for being here and for being in person. So it was a really wonderful evening of music with Bobby Previtt and Jamie and yourself.
Yeah, that's on the heels of a album that we put out on Subsound called Previtt Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
That Bobby and I did, yeah.
Yeah. Man, that was good. So let's go and do like This Is Your Life, Knox Chandler. You're from Connecticut.
Well, I would say my father was a scientist, so we moved around a lot for his research. I was born in Kentucky and then Cape Cod, Providence, Maryland, England, back to Maryland, and then he got a position at Yale for researching, and that was probably about 1966, 67. So we're in New Haven. Then I moved out to Guilford around 68.
Okay.
And been there. My folks have been there ever since.
Wow. Yeah.
And I left around 76 to go to college. And
where'd you go to college? Bard.
Bard.
You came here, and that was like your one stop. Some people transfer or anything like that.
No, I did. No. I did 4 years at Bard, and then I stayed on for another year. I went to Boston after that. Didn't really like it, but I had a band at Bard. They were all still there.
Oh, tell me, what was the name of the band?
It was called the Caucasians.
Okay.
That's what we were, to make it simple.
Uh-huh.
And I got hired by the dance department to accompany dancers on upright bass mostly. And I also taught guitar.
Okay.
And then the dance troupe.
Now, I want to step back a little because I grew up in Tivoli.
Oh, yeah.
Did
I
not tell you
Tivoli.
that. Every person
I
love it spelled backwards, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up there.
I lived right down on the train tracks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Right on the river.
Yeah, the windows would rattle when the icebreakers would come up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That was like I spent many years growing up down there.
Yeah.
My formative youth. You were at Adolph's was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Thursday nights. And, oh, my God, I heard some of the best music there.
We basically passed our classes at Adolph's.
Yes.
With our professors, trying to bring our professors under the table.
What those kids are missing now when they go, it's just you drive by and it's I forgot what it is.
Well, that was the Morian in Tivoli.
Yeah. Danny Bailey, did he kick you out when you walked in?
He tried.
Okay. Most of the time, if you weren't a Tivolian and you were a Bard student, he probably may have kicked you out at some point. So anyway, I'm regressing. I'm sorry. You just brought that out in me. So what can I say? So let's step back, though, a little bit, because first instrument, you are such a multi-instrument. What's your first instrument?
I first started playing recorder when I was really little, like 3, and switched over to classical guitar when I was 7.
taking lessons?
Yeah, actually, I was taking recorder lessons at this church in Worcester Square where all the famous New Haven pizza parlors are.
Yeah.
And then we go out and have pizza afterwards. But I was walking through the room, the main part of the church, and I heard this classical guitarist, and I was just stunned. And my mother went right up to him and said, "Do you give lessons?" He said, "Sure." So I started studying classical, and it wasn't really for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was about 10, I bought my first electric guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have any money. Scientists don't have money early on, and
Right.
I was raising chickens, so I sold enough chicken eggs to buy a pre-CBS Fender Mustang guitar,
Love this.
which I still had.
You do.
Yeah,
I love
and my
that.
father had this Bogan PA head with a 15-inch speaker that he used to listen to his records on.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. And so we rigged it up as my guitar amp, and I just would sit in my room in the attic and feedback all day.
I love this.
And started taking lessons with someone named Wayne Kirby, who's had a full career. He's down in Asheville now, but it was interesting because we had Yale, and there was these Shoko Aki and Brodus Earl were part of the graduate program, teaching at the graduate program, and they have these weekend music classes, and they bring all the graduate students out, and Wayne was one of them.
Wow.
And we would learn all about all sorts of different kinds of music as kids.
Right. I was going to say, as like 10, 11-year-olds.
Tony Scher.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to do it.
Really?
Yeah, Tony was like, I remember I'm about 8 years older than him. I was like, I remember him because his brother Peter was an amazing violinist, and Tony was studying bass, but I was on a cello because he was so small. But yeah, they were there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a wonderful thing.
What were your parents listening to when you were at home, little, young?
My parents listened to everything from like classical Stravinsky. Stravinsky is what I remember them mostly listening to early on, and my father is from Texas, so he liked a lot of bluegrass and as he puts it, Western music, not country Western. And I mean, they would. My mother had an Appalachian dulcimer that we went to Kentucky and bought from Homer Ledford, and they used to sit around. My dad strummed a guitar, sit around the kitchen, and they would sing songs and harmonize, and then of course they bought Sgt. Pepper's right when it came out. And they were into the band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they were into that. They were kind of hippie-ish. I would say.
Yeah. So you're off at Bard. By the time you're at Bard, when did you pick up like cello?
Oh, that happened when I was 35.
Whoa. Okay. So guitar, bass is like your.
Well, no, upright bass I took up at Bard.
Okay.
And I.
What did you go in and major as in Bard?
I came in as a split major, music, performance, composition, and fine arts, painting mostly. And by the time I reached my senior year, I had taken too many classes in my division, so I had to choose between. I was going to be a split major, and senior year I had to choose one, so obviously I chose music. But I took up the upright bass then because they really encouraged mostly guitar players to find a second instrument so you could do other kinds of music, which I'm really grateful for because I studied from a bassist in New York City, Ken Fricker, and then I also learned a lot of bowing from Luis Garcia Renart, who is the conductor of the Mid-Hudson Philharmonic and taught at Bard.
Wow.
And so I was playing in the orchestra at Bard, as well as diving into some more loft jazz that was happening at the time. And
great little music scene. You probably played at with the Caucasians. You probably played at the Rhinecliff Hotel back then, right? Right. Yeah.
But there's a pianist, Larry Chertoff, and we would play a lot together. Two of us. He was a jazz pianist.
Yeah.
So I got into the normal, bebop songs.
Did you head on over to Woodstock too a lot? Because it's part of
yes. I mean, that's when I first met Mars Williams, who I had a lifetime relationship with. He passed away a year and a half ago. but that's I used to go over to the Creative Music Studios,
Yeah.
Carl
Sure,
Berger's place,
sure.
and I met all those guys there. And they had a band called Mind Control Salsa, which later became the Swollen Monkeys, who I played with, and that's also where I met Gary Window,
Wow.
the sax player who we did an album in the 80s. It came out in 88 on Island Antilles called Deepwater. And Gary was a bit older, and he sat in with the Swollen Monkeys a bit and was playing with Carla Bley and Todd Rundgren. And so he sort of flip-flop between like sort of jazzier stuff and rock stuff. And that was my connection to Gary Window, was from over there.
Yeah. What a place. And what,
It was exciting.
Yeah.
Lots of places to play and
yeah. Yeah. A lot of outlets there. Joyous Lake, Tinker
Joyous
Street.
there was the Tinker Street Cafe.
Yep.
There was the Whitewater Depot. What was this another place I'm kind of forgetting? That's before even Dreamland Studios was there.
Yes.
It was just Bearsville.
Just Bearsville was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. I remember just going over there on a Friday night and seeing this band called Uncle Funk with Tony Levin and Rob Leone, and Rick Danko would just walk through the door, just like, I'll jam in with you and all of that. And, Jorma Kaukonen here in Kingston at Uncle Willie's, and I primarily listened to this in the early 80s and stuff. So that's because of my age of where I was. But
No, it was very exciting.
Yeah. And it still is. Look at where we are, right? The Mid-Hudson Valley has got it going on. At least I think it does.
Yeah, it does. I got to get up here more often.
You do. Well, we are so happy that you made it to the local. I hope. Are you guys playing some more with Bobby? You guys got more?
we will in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys.
I love playing with Bobby.
He's amazing.
He's a phenomenal.
Yeah. Crazy good.
And Jamie also.
Oh, yeah. I think Jamie posted that you were incredible or something like that today on the post. So.
Oh, did?
Yeah, he
That's
posted something about, that you're the best. You're the best.
No,
Knox.
I love those guys immensely.
So you're at Bard, you're doing all this music stuff, and then after Bard, you go to Boston?
Go to Boston briefly. It wasn't for me. Went back up to Bard. As I said, I was teaching and hired by the dance department. And Eileen Pasloff, who was a choreographer, who also passed away about a year or so ago, she was able to bring the student troupe down to New York City, to Theater for the New City, for a weeks-long performance. And she had me on stage bowing the bass and cymbals and pouring water and just improvising. And these dancers would dance kind of interacting with me. And I was down there, so I was on there for a couple of weeks, and I was just like, that's it, I'm moving to the city. And I came back up, sold everything I owned, and I moved down there.
Yeah. And your career apparently exploded while you were in the city, because you have worked with quite an array of people.
Yeah, it took me about 9 years before I could actually make a living doing music.
Really? What'd you do to subsidize?
I worked at a law firm. I
really
worked at a talent agent. I worked I worked at one of those delivering papers for the Learning Annex. I worked in a Japanese lamp store, and I just
really. So you do this by day, and by night you'd be out in clubs.
Oh yeah. It was
playing, watching, listening, or all of those things. Like
both, mostly playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of time playing.
Some of your favorite clubs that time were?
I played a lot of Danceteria.
Mm-hmm.
There was what were some of the other ones? Well, of course, CB's, the Bitter End, the Bottom Line, played there.
With others, like in bands?
In bands, yeah. A bunch of different bands.
Yeah.
And then it was in 1988 where I actually I bumped into Richard Butler and his brother Tim, and Richard hired me to start recording demos for what was going to be a solo record. which turned out to be the Psychedelic Furs Book of Days record.
Wow.
Which, so when that finally through that, and I was friends with John Ashton for quite a while before that. So it just sort of melded together. And in '89, I was over in London recording Book of Days.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Very
Then
cool.
everything kind of snowballed from there.
From there. So the big thing came with the Psychedelic Furs, and then after that.
Yes, as well as the cello playing.
So that's when the cello came in?
Yes.
With Psychedelic Furs. Wow.
Yeah, we had we recorded Book of Days, and there was a one track on it called Torch, where they hired a woman to come in and play cello. Now, previously, they had Ann Sheldon on cello for the Forever Now album and tour. And so we were getting ready to start rehearsals for the Book of Days tour, and Richard was over in my apartment, and he goes, Knox, you're a musical genius. You should play the cello. And I was like, Richard, I can't play cello.
Had you ever even played it before?
Haven't ever even tried.
Right, okay.
Hadn't touched it. But I studied upright bass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, it's can't be that difficult, but it's tuned in fifths instead of fourths. It's a different bow because I was playing German bow on the bass, and it's different fingering, completely different fingering. You don't even use your third finger on the fretboard until you get in the thumb position, on the bass. And so he was really pushing it, I have to say. And I said, well, my sister's got a cello in Connecticut she doesn't use. And so I went and got that. I need a little bit of work, and I put a pickup on it, and I just practiced. I try to figure it out.
Practice how? Like getting books to read music? Just
no.
Improv.
I just tried to get a sound out of the damn thing. and they had there was like, at that time there were like 3 songs. There was Sleep Comes Down, President Gas, and the song Torch, which really highlighted the cello. So I really had to, I think that might have been another one, I can't remember. Really, I practiced, I learned how to play the best I could of my technique in front of thousands of people every night.
Love that.
And it was so nerve-wracking. I hated it.
You did, huh?
Oh, it was so nerve-wracking. I'm grateful for it, though, because from there, we did the World Outside album. I was more involved with a lot of cello stuff on that.
Mm-hmm. And getting more comfortable, I would
more
guess.
comfortable, yeah, more comfortable. And I was in between that, I was getting like these sessions playing cello, and so it sort of pushed me in a certain direction. And then to fast forward, I was working with Natalie Merchant playing cello, Cyndi Lauper playing cello.
Which album were you on with Natalie?
I just toured with her.
Toured with her.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I toured the Ophelia, Lilith Fair, and then and with Cyndi, there's I played on Shine, that album. I don't think I was playing any cello on Bring You to the Brink, but live I was playing. There was every night we did about 2 or 3 songs I was on cello.
And we're talking about Cyndi Lauper here.
Yeah.
How'd you get connected with Cyndi?
That's another funny story.
I know, I read it, but I want to hear it because I want you to share it with our audience.
Well, Sammy Marandino, who's a very well-known drum programmer and drummer. I mean, he was like there were 2 guys in New York City for drum programming. It was Jimmy Braylauer and Sammy Marandino. And Sammy I had met doing the Darden Smith album, and we'd done some music together, written some stuff. We were in different projects, and leading up to that, people had said, "Hey, Cindy's looking for someone. Were you interested?" And I was just too busy at the time. But one day, Sammy called me up and he goes, "Hey, I'm recording Cyndi Lauper's new record over here at my studio, and you'd be perfect on this stuff." And I was like, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, I could really use that thing you've got." And so I came over there with a cello and a guitar, and I get there right on time, and we were sitting there chewing the fat for about maybe 45 minutes or so, and then Sammy goes, you know what, just get set up and have a go at some of these songs. And so we did a couple passes on, I think, 2 songs. I think one was The Water's Edge, and I forget what the other one was. And time went on, and we're taking a break, and this is like about over 2 hours later, and Cindy comes in, and it's like, hey, buddy, pal, I'm Sin. I said, I'm Knox. Well, I wound up being buddy pal for probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know she knows my name, but that's what she referred to me, buddy pal.
I love that.
And Sammy was like, yes, and you got to hear what he's done. He's put on some amazing stuff, and she just lost it. She
in not a good way.
She was like, how dare you mess with my material? These are my songs. I'm the producer. Who said you could do that? I know exactly what I want him to play.
Oh.
And it was very uncomfortable. It was like, and I'm like, this is me first meeting Cindy. I'm like, oh my God. And even though it was uncomfortable, and I was also impressed that here's a woman who really knows what she wants, and she's strong.
And what year was this, or around?
Around 99 or 2000, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Before 9/11. And so I went in there and I played exactly what she wanted me to play. And then Sammy and I had a gig that night at CBGB's Gallery, and she came.
Whoa!
And she heckled me, like I take a solo and she'd be like, Knox solo, and I was like, she was so who you think she. I mean, that persona is who she is.
Right. There's
it
no
really
personas.
Is.
It's real.
It's out there. It's real. And I'm like, I couldn't figure out if she hated me or liked me, or it was so bizarre. And she came backstage, and I remember going back that night, going, "Oh my God, I'll never see her again." That was just so weird, But I respected it because she was who she is. It was like I never met anyone like that before, or ever will. And
good.
So it was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks later. I did a lot of work with Victor Van Vogt, the producer, and I was working with him in West Village. And I was tracking, and my phone starts blowing up, and I'm ignoring it, but it just keeps blowing up, and it's the same number. And at that time, my son was in school over in the East Village, and I was like, "Oh my God, Victor, I better take it. It might be Miles' school." And so I answered the phone, and it's like, "Hey, buddy, pal."
You knew who that was.
Yeah, exactly. It's Sin, and she said, "I'm up here mixing the stuff we had done, and like the engineer pulled up these tracks. Oh my God, it's amazing." Sammy didn't wipe it.
Oh.
So she was pulling up the stuff that...
She told you not to mess with her music, but then wound up liking it.
Yeah, she loved it. And right there on the phone, look, I want to fly you out to L.A. this weekend. We're doing this TV show and this and this and this. And that was it.
Wow.
For like the next 10 years.
Wow, 10 years. So you toured the whole world with her.
Yeah. There was a bit of a break because I was also... At that time, I was also working with Susie and the Banshees and Dave Gahan. I was writing his album, and then she had this. She booked this 6-month leg that I just couldn't do because I was going in the studio with David, and it. I've been writing it. I was writing on it. It was our project,
right?
And so I had to bail on that. And she didn't like that.
Right.
She wasn't happy because I was still doing shows with her, and she was like, from the stage, "Yeah, no, we're losing Knox. He's going off with Susie," which wasn't true. I was going off with
right.
But yet she'd still pull me back. Like I'd still like go and do like long weekends or a week here and there, and then it was about 2005 right there where she pulled me in full time. Until about 2010.
Wow. So you went to Asia, you went to all
South
over
America,
Europe. Some of your favorite venues that stand out that you've not necessarily just with Cindy, but like if someone was to say like, what are 3 venues that really stand out? And you've had quite the career and still continue to have quite the career, but there's got to be a few that just pop out.
Well, the Budokan was fun.
Where's that?
In Japan.
Okay.
In Tokyo, yeah.
Okay.
That was just because the records have been made from there. The Gorge in Washington State.
Yeah.
That was pretty beautiful.
I
It was
bet.
Pretty amazing.
Was that with Cindy?
No, that was with Natalie.
Oh, okay.
The Olympia in Paris, which was with David. There's been so many. There was this in Lyon. There's this beautiful like old amphitheater that was fantastic with Susie and the Banshees. But I guess the wildest gig, hands down, was playing I think it was the year 2000, playing Boston 4th of July with the Boston Pops.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
where?
It was on the grounds near the river.
Wow.
But it was one of the things where the whole city just is out. It was like millions of people.
Wow. So that's the largest crowd, I'm guessing.
Largest crowd, but the reason why I say that is because we would end a song, and you'd hear like the tens of thousands that were right in front of you, but they had put up screens.
Sure.
All over the place.
Because there were too many people, they wouldn't have seen you.
For everybody was down waiting for the fireworks. And then you'd hear this sound. Like after first you'd hear their applause, and then you'd hear this sound that was just of millions of people applauding.
Wow.
It was just...
Came in waves, I guess, right?
It was just so
like,
wild.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like that before. And so that one always stands out. That was a bizarre gig.
I bet.
Especially playing with an orchestra.
I've talked to
I think half the string section quit at the first day of rehearsal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had to bring just because they weren't used to playing with live drums.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I have talked to people that have played stadium shows like that, and they say that they get more nervous and intimidated, I guess, in a smaller venue, like say the
totally.
Local or the Falcon.
I'm way more nervous playing in some place like Tubby's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, isn't that wild? And here
Yeah.
you've played in front of, hundreds of thousands.
Well, it's
before.
the intimacy. And
Yeah.
Plus, like probably half the audience
Right.
They're your friends.
Right, they're your friends. So you've played at Tubby's.
Yeah.
You know Tubby's up in Kingston.
Yeah.
And you played there solo with your work, or
No, I was there with Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
I've been trying to get in touch with him to do a solo show.
Yeah.
Kind of hard.
Yeah. Do that.
I'm doing Avalon though.
Oh, when?
October 12th.
October 12th.
Yeah.
Solo,
and probably also solo and possibly my trio.
Okay. And your trio is with?
This band with Ismail Lawal and Diallo House. They're New York City guys.
Okay.
I've known for many years.
All right. That's cool. I'll mention that a couple of times leading up to it, that's for sure. Before we get into this latest beautiful release that is accompanied by a book, I'd like to play another track, if that's cool with you. And Tea Stained Edge.
Yeah, maybe I should explain a little bit about the first track, Flower Under.
Mm-hmm.
The whole one of the concepts of the record, other than what we'll probably get into, is that it's a guitar record. So all you heard on that first track, that's all guitar. All the sounds you hear on the record are guitar, other than upright bass and percussion, which is pretty. You can tell what that is. And part of the reason is a good friend of mine. He was like my technical mentor. He passed away a couple years ago. My friend Peter, and Peter was he was a genius musician. He'd worked with John Hassel, produced and played bass with him, as well as numerous others. But he was always a big fan of what I did, and he was Peter Freeman. He was really wanting me to do solo guitar record. And so this is like my solo guitar record.
Love that.
So there's no synthesizers or samples or anything. It's all guitar.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. And we'll talk about this book too, because we'll get into that. But let's play this, and then we'll get into the sound of things here. So, all right. Knox Chandler on air with me. I'm your host, Rita Ryan, here with LocalMotion. This is the track called Tea-Stained Edge from the album called The Sound by today's guest, Knox Chandler, here on 91.3 WVKR. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Tea-Stained Edge off the album The Sound with Knox Chandler. Knox,
Yep.
we need to talk about this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 tracks on this. You sent me this after I talked to you at the local. You're like, yeah, we have this new release coming out, and you're like, it's accompanied with a book. And we were just talking off air that I don't know that I've ever come across anything like that, where someone's releasing this book. Talk to us in depth about this beautiful, beautiful visual piece that I'm holding in my hand, accompanied by the tracks that are available on so many different digital platforms. Right. Again, Knox Chandler. Also, you have a website, knoxchandlermusic.com. Talk about the concept and where it finally came to realization with this beautiful release of yours.
Okay. I'll explain the book, and then I'll go back how it all started. I finished everything. I wanted to put it out, but not as on digital platforms so everyone can have access to it. But I also wanted something tangible, and I didn't want to do a CD, and I thought about vinyl, and actually there is somebody who's going to put out some of it on vinyl, but I had all this material that I had been working on other than the music, and I said, oh, it's got to be a book, and I'll put the download codes in it for Bandcamp, so I sell it on Bandcamp and I sell it on my website. It all came to fruition probably. Let's see. I moved from Berlin, Germany, back to the States in 2021. Is that right? Or 3.5 years ago. So that would be right, I think.
Yep.
To take care of my mother, who's elderly, and so she could die in the house. And for that first year is when I got in contact with Bobby and we started recording our record. But right off the bat, I mean, I was sitting there with my studio fired up, and I'm looking out the window, and it's like so pretty coming from after living in major cities for 40 years. But I wasn't feeling any inspiration at all. I wasn't connecting. You know, in Berlin, New York, I would take breaks and go for a walk around the block, and I'd be bombarded with smells and sounds and visuals, and I'd come back and have ideas. And here I was in the beautiful nature, and nothing. And then that spring, I decided one of the things I really wanted to do is I wanted to learn to fly fish. I had kind of dabbled with it when I was a teenager, but never really did anything with it. But I'm in the country, and there's all these rivers. People fly fish for trout, and so I took it up, and as well as doing a lot of hiking, and also fishing down on Long Island Sound for stripers, and a lot of hiking around down by the water, and I found after these excursions, and again, some of them was standing in the middle of a river in waders for like 7 hours. I was getting all this inspiration, a lot of it to do with different rhythms and whatnot. But especially with the fly fishing, because you're sitting there, if you're dry fly fishing, you're having to have this fly sit in the bait stream and float down like perfectly without anything to spook it. And you're adjusting like a tippet, a leader, and a line. So you start noticing that within that one river flow, there's different rhythms. So like the edge that might be closest to you might be moving a little faster, so you're constantly having to correct your line. And that kind of concentration for like 6-7 hours straight you get it. You find yourself in this weird zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started noticing these different colors and shades and smells. I mean, everything. It was just like, for some reason my senses were heightened.
Mm-hmm.
So even going down and like night fishing on the Long Island Sound, uh, watching the way the moon's light would like reflect from the different patterns in the water, especially when like the tides were shifting, stuff like that. It became a very magical experience. And so I was shooting a lot of photography. I was painting. I got back into painting again, sketching, and a lot of journal writing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was all happening while I was starting to record this record. So there were like specific places, whether it's down by the shoreline or walking through the woods or in the middle of a river, where I was expressing these emotions through either music, obviously, either through my journal writing or my sketchbooks or my painting canvases. And so so my mother moved out about a year and a half ago into an assisted place, and I was sort of left alone with a lot more time, because up to that point I didn't have a lot of time.
Right, because you were caring for her.
Yeah, I was getting maybe an hour or so during the day, and then she'd go to bed at about 9 or 10, and then I'd be up for 3 or 4 hours, working then. That's how I did the Bobby album. But here I got to really go full on, and I just like, you know what, it makes sense to have a book. And on the Connecticut license plate on the car, it says "Preserve the Sound." And so I said, there it is, the sound. That's, because it is. And I look at it, it's like it's a musical memoir that's documenting really my moving from Berlin, Germany to Guilford, Connecticut.
How long were you in Berlin?
10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Do you speak German? I should have asked you that before.
No one speaks German in Berlin.
Really? It's all
well,
English?
you start speaking German, they answer you in English.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a good place to learn German.
Yeah, yeah. All right, okay.
It's better put me in Bavaria.
Yeah, or where I come from, because the older people speak zero English.
Yeah.
So
that's how you learn.
That's how you learn. Yeah. So back to the sound here, this visual booklet. So if people are interested in looking at this and obtaining a copy, they can go to your website. They can go to Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And all these other digital platforms.
The streaming sites are just for the music.
Right. Okay.
So it's just my website and Bandcamp where you can purchase the book.
Okay. Now, when you play your shows, you have a couple of shows coming up, August 29th. Will you have this book at the shows?
Oh yeah. It's merch. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So you are playing, while we're on that subject, August 29th in Middletown, Connecticut at Buttonwood Tree
Cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And then again, October 12th in Catskill at the Avalon. You can see Knox Chandler. The tracks that you came up with here, they all have such interesting names. 3 Days After, Tea-Stained Edge. Talk about like what we just heard, which was Tea-Stained Edge.
Yes, a lot of where I find beauty is when it has a contrast of something that's opposite. And I started noticing like a lot of, especially on my hikes, I'd find these like beautiful flowers or even mushrooms, and then there'd be all this decay around them. That was very much similar to what a tea-stained paper would look like. And I dabbled a lot with staining paper with tea, just to see what kind of effect that has. There's a couple pieces in the book which actually have that, and it's sort of the contrast to something that is actually very rich, like decay, versus life, and ugliness versus beauty.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of the idea behind it. I mean, there's other stuff that's much more personal,
Right.
but
Right.
I kind of like don't want to steal anyone's imagination.
Right. Let it just roam wherever you want it to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I'd love to play another track of this and then come back before we end our hour together. And can we talk about Lost Dusk Feather, which is what we're going to listen to?
Yeah, this is getting more into a tribal thing. And I guess there's some aggression in there. That's sort of, it seems to, like, nature can be, I find it can be pretty mean.
Mm-hmm.
I've enough hikes. Like, for instance, I was hiking about a year or so ago and came across a raccoon that had completely been cut open by either a fisher cat or a bobcat, and it was very violent.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a bit of that edginess of violence in there, but then again there's this sort of relief.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good enough.
All right. Sounds good. Let's take a listen to Knox Chandler's Lost Dusk Feather here on 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Lost Dusk Feather from the Sound by Knox Chandler. Knox, we have you on air. Thank you for that. You are there, aren't you? Wait a minute, are you?
I don't know. Am I?
Yes, you are. You are. You are. I just had to put the level up a little bit. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful release that you've done here. Really, thank you, and thank you for sharing it with me in this beautiful visual. And it was just really lovely to get to learn more about you and listen to this album while I was learning more. And
well, I mean, this is the thing. It's my truth, and I feel very vulnerable, and I accept that. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I think most of the time, when I'm mostly working with other people, there's that compromise, and there's usually like kind of like a set concept. But the whole point of this concept was just to like my experience of who I am in the moment, going through this. It's really it's a detox from a city.
from moving in, and just a whole different country also. But yeah, just the whole thing. This is your first solo release. Yes?
Release, yeah. I made an album in 2005 called Turquoise, which I never released it. But it was also very, very a lot of similarities in the approach to processing the guitar and bass.
One final question: are you ever, because you journal, are you ever considering writing a book besides this visual?
What, a book?
A book, like a novel or a book?
I have to wait till everybody's dead.
Uh-huh.
I got yeah. I mean, I don't feel compelled to at all. No, I do. I would like to make some more visual books, like this, which is it's sort of this whole way of it's almost very collagey, like using collage, and a lot of my, like, all these pieces started with what I call a sound ribbon, and it's me creating these soundscapes without any pre-existing audio or use of samplers or synthesizers or anything. So I got very much involved with doing this when I first moved to Berlin in 2012. I spent 2 years going deep with this stuff before I even played outside. The process is very collage-like, because I'm using these different channels on this iPad, using a class-compliant iPad, where I'm sort of mixing things, and so you're getting some rubs that I have to massage in real time, and combining different ingredients to get one sort of total taste, so to speak, and so that's the whole sort of collage technique, and that kind of went over into designing the book, because it's very much like a lot of collage in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
With my paintings and my sketches and my writing, etc. I will probably want to do something more like this. I have some ideas. I have 3 different ideas for the next record.
Beautiful.
That I've been sketching out. So
that means you're going to do more solo releases. You've got more.
Oh yeah,
more in you to come out.
So I've also been working with some other people. I have a project with Cynthia Slay, the singer from the Bush Tetras. We've been, she was just over my place last weekend for some more recording. So we've got an album's worth of material that we're trying to clean up, and then there's some local musicians in New Haven that I play with, that I'm interested in doing some recordings of that.
Yeah.
putting that out on my label Blue Elastic.
Okay, great.
So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
You're not sitting still. You're creative, and it's not stopping, which is beautiful.
I live in a town that's incredibly beige, vacuous of all culture, but awfully pretty.
Hmm.
And so either I keep busy,
Yes,
or I wind up like
beige.
or I wind up beige, or I wind up like Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Oh yeah. Oh no, no, no. We're not going to have that. I can't imagine you doing that, Knox. I can't. KnoxChandlerMusic.com. Can also find him on Facebook and on Instagram, as well as Bandcamp to buy the merchandise. I always suggest buying from the artist directly. It's the way it should be nowadays. And also when you go see him in person, August 29th in Middletown, Connecticut at Buttonwood Tree Cafe, and then in Catskill at the Avalon on October 12th. Knox Chandler, it's been a true honor to have you here.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
really, thank you for coming in person. It always means so much when someone takes the time, because time is our greatest gift to give each other, right?
Yep.
So thank you
Yep.
for that. And we're going to go out with Mars on a Half Moon Rising.
Yeah, this is my homage to Mars Williams,
Mm-hmm.
who passed away and who died on a half moon.
Oh,
And yeah,
beautiful.
it's totally from my heart towards him. I don't think he ever would create music like this.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we had done some work together, we were working on a record actually, and he heard some of this before I actually put the frogs on it.
Oh, nice.
But it's just my homage to Mars.
Beautiful, and it's your way. I also want to say that you are tuned into Local Motion on 91.3 WVKR. It's 5:03 p.m. I'm your host, Rita Ryan, here with Local Motion. A huge thank you, by the way, if you missed part of this interview or you want to hear it again or just coming in now, it'll be uploaded tonight on the Local Motion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel, as well as on my Facebook page, and I'll tag Knox, and maybe he'll do the same thing. And again, thank you for your time, Knox. And
Thank you.
let's take a listen to this final track here from The Sound. It's called, again, Mars on a Half Moon Rising by Knox Chandler here on 91.3 WVKR. 91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Knox Chandler, the album called The Sound. We just heard Mars on a Half Moon Rising. And thank you to Knox Chandler for being my guest today. That was a wonderful hour spent with Knox. Again, if you missed part of that or want to hear it again, I will be uploading the conversation with Knox Chandler tonight on the YouTube channel under LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR. So we start off the second hour, this one right here, right now, by playing a track. And we always honor and pay tribute to Tony Falco from the Falcon in Marlborough, who passed away October 27th of 2021. He left a really couple of cool playlists, and I take one of those playlists and I play a track in the order that he uploaded it. And I always still learning some new music from Tony, and it's just a way that I honor him, and I hope that anybody that's been to the Falcon can understand why this gets done on this show every single time I host a show. This is the 154th upload from Tony on his playlist, and this is by Sarah Potenza. And let's take a listen right here, right now, on 91.3 WVKR.
I've been riding high, but I don't know why. Everybody wants to send me down to the valley of tears. It's a sunny, bright day, and I'm on my way. Everybody wants to send me down to the valley of tears. Oh, people standing in line, they wanna hear me cry. I can't cry. I want to know what is over there on the other side. Everyone I choose, they wanna bring me all this bad news. Everybody wants to send me down to the valley of tears. I wanna know why. Oh! Oh, people stand in line. They stand in line. They wanna hear me cry. And I just want to know, can you tell me what is over there on the other side? Everyone I choose, why do they bring me bad news? Everybody wants to send me down
91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Sex Mob, the album called Exotica. We heard the track Oakland. Sex Mob will be playing at the Falcon this Sunday, August 24th. It's their 30th year playing together, and they are bringing their show. They were just on tour in Europe. They were out west, and now we're lucky enough to have a show from Sex Mob here at the Falcon in Marlborough this Sunday. You can make reservations by calling them or going online at liveatthefalcon.com. And we started this off with a track from Tony Falco's playlist by Sarah Potenza, her debut album called Monster. We heard the track Valley of Tears. And let's keep the music flowing now. Mr. Bruce Molsky, world-renowned violinist, fiddler, contacted me. He's got a show happening on September 13th at Colony in Woodstock, and he sent me a couple of his newest albums, and I want to play a track from this one. It's with Al Miller and Bruce Molsky, and this is the album called Bruce's Hauling. Let's take a listen to some music from him right here, right now on 91.3. 91.3 WVKR. Here we go.
Gloria, I smell it on your breath. Gloria, booze and peppermint. Gloria, no one said enough is enough. Gloria, they found you on the floor. Gloria, my hand was tied to yours. And Gloria, did you finally see that enough is enough? Did you know me when I was younger then? I could take the whole world with me. I would find myself feeling alone. Heaven help me now, heaven show the way. Get me back on my own 2 feet. I would lie awake and pray you don't lie awake for me. Gloria, you crawled up on your cross. Gloria, you made us sit and watch. Gloria, no one said enough is enough. Heaven help me now, heaven show the way. Get me back on my own 2 feet. I would lie awake and pray you don't lie awake for me. Every night away, every day alone. Get me back on my own 2 feet. I would lie awake and pray you don't lie awake for me. Gloria, will you just decide? Gloria, there's easier ways to die. Gloria, have you had enough?
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. You may recognize that song as one that was done by the Lumineers. It's called Gloria. That particular singer that we just heard was Ginger Wynn, and Jack Petrozelli did the arrangements for that. Jack was my guest here on the show last time, and he did that, and it's just such a beautiful version of the Lumineers song. Again, Jack Petrozelli with Ginger Wynn on vocals. Jack is curating this amazing concert this weekend, and the weather is just supposed to be outstanding on Saturday. This is going to happen. It's called Rock the Quarry. And it's happening up in Saugerties at, I think Jack calls it one of the natural wonders of the Hudson Valley, which I completely agree with. Opus 40. If you haven't been there or know about it, check it out online, opus40.org. I've had Isabel Sofer on the show. We talked about it this year and earlier in the summer season because they have such great, outstanding summer programming there. So Jack is curating this show called Rock the Quarry at Opus 40 this Saturday. It really runs from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. and it's kind of a one-day festival with headliner Gail Ann Dorsey. And there's going to be Jack Petrozelli there, Cindy Cashdollar, Simi Stone, Will Bryant, Jay Collins, Brian Mitchell, Lee Falco, Jeff Hill, Kendra McKinley, and Ginger Wynn, who we just heard from on this past song. So this show is happening this Saturday, August 23rd, Rock the Quarry. The main stage, I guess, music starts at 6 p.m. There is a warm-up, like an opener, at 5 p.m., but pop-up concerts starting at 2. So lots of great stuff happening, and tickets available at opus40.org. We also heard music by Bruce Molsky and Al Miller, the album called Bruce's Howling, and the track we heard was Zolly's Retreat and The Boatsman. And Bruce Molsky is a world-renowned fiddler. We're so lucky to have him here in the Hudson Valley, brucemolsky.com. And Bruce is playing a solo show in Woodstock on September 13th at the Colony. If you're not familiar, if you are familiar, I don't even have to tell you. I know you'll be at the show. But if you're not, it's a treat to see him. It truly is. Bruce Molsky, Colony Woodstock on September 13th. Tickets available at colonywoodstock.com. And by the way, I should have mentioned this earlier, but better late than never. At least I'm still on air to talk about it. LocalMotion, this show, turned 10 years old last month. We were been on air here for 10 years. Thanks, Dr. J. Aw, show number 431 here today. So I'm putting together this benefit concert at the Falcon in Marlborough on Saturday, November 8th. I hate to say this, but if you haven't gotten tickets, please go on the waiting list because it is sold out. I am thrilled to let you know that the two benefactors from this benefit concert will be Sparrow's Nest here in Dutchess County and People's Place over in Kingston. So any proceeds at all that come in that night will go directly to those two local area nonprofit organizations. And I'm so thrilled. The musicians that are performing that night are doing it gratis. So, and I mean, not a penny. So every penny that comes in goes to these organizations. So that says a lot about the musicians that are coming. Thrilled to let you know Larry Campbell will be headlining the show along with Gail Ann Dorsey. I can't believe I'm saying this. Cindy Cashdollar will be there along with Lee Falco. Andy Stack will be there. And also the band Tiny Spores will be there, which will include my daughter Caroline performing and Sam Bernhardt and 3 other performers. And we'll also have the band from the 90s that was around here in Dutchess County, Little Giant, which is spearheaded by singer-songwriter Rick Z. Also performing in Little Giant is Carl Allwire, which many of you may know if you're out in the music scene here. And Ed Ryan will be on bass and Matt Donahue will be on drums. So it is going to be a fun-filled night. I think there's even going to be more special guests announced as time gets closer. The show is at the Falcon Saturday, November 8th. It is sold out. If you'd like to get on the waiting list, just give the Falcon a call. You can go to the website liveatthefalcon.com. And again, the concert is LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR. 10-year benefit concert. So if anybody's interested, join that waiting list. We sold out this concert in July. Hard to believe, but thrilled about that. So we're all going to support this great cause. Again, one of the performers that will be at this benefit concert is Andy Stack. He's an incredible guitarist and singer-songwriter. He's also going to be playing this Sunday at Town Crier in Beacon on the Salon stage. Let's take a listen now to Andy Stack here on 91.3 WVKR.
People come, people go. You can have, but you can never hold. It's all just temporary. The sun goes down, the sun come up. You'll have misfortune, you'll have some luck. It's all just temporary. 'Cause everything comes and goes. No telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. When you find yourself on top, hanging with the winners and the cream of the crop, it's all just temporary. Remember that money don't make the man, as long as you're doing everything you can. It's all just temporary. 'Cause everything comes and goes, no telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. Vexing in your vanity, wasting your time, seeking to find victory. Some time alone might do you some good. It's all just temporary. 'Cause everything comes and goes, no telling where the winds will blow. It's all temporary. 'Cause everything begins and ends. Don't get caught up chasing the wind. It's all temporary. It's all just temporary. It's all temporary. It's all
broadcast place, back smile, a worn-out station dial. Feedback static guys, all night transmission dies. This is what the ratings cost you, though you find that you might on the dial. Stuck on the radio. I'm sure that you've heard this song before. Then you'll find you're stuck on the radio. I'm sure that you've heard this song before. Up with the sunrise, no surprise.
I snuck out of Sacramento.
You're down in the driveway. Head from your feet, and they come and go.
The way the lights played out over the street.
Shortwave beeline to the nearest high.
Headlights in the car.
You're out on the parkway. On blast, they bleed from your stereo. This is what the ratings cost you. Though you find that you might be lost on the dial. Stuck on the radio. I'm sure that you've heard this song before. Then you'll find stuck on the radio. I'm sure that you've heard this song before. Every day you sing the same thing. And every day you sing the same thing. And every day you sing the same thing. Same thing. Same broadcast plays that smile. Broadcast plays that smile. Broadcast plays that smile.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. We're having too much fun, Dr. J and I. He's coming up at 6 o'clock. So keep it tuned right where he is. And all the way, by the way, you might want to call him and congratulate him on 40 years of sainthood. And that means he's married. He's just celebrated 40 years of being married to the same person. He's a saint, Saint Jerome. St. Jerome. Oh, my God. And the phone number after 6 to call him is 845-437-7178. He deserves our applause for 40 years. Congratulations. Woo! Awesome. Awesome. All right. So we just heard Mark Delgado, Stuck on the Radio. Mark is a singer-songwriter from Woodstock. He's originally from California, and he quit everything. He got married, moved into the woods. He began writing songs chronicling his life and his odyssey, and then here he is in the local music scene. He will be playing on Saturday at Town Crier on the Salon stage, which means it's gratis. You don't need a ticket to go. Dinner reservations, I think, are maybe required, or just to have a little bite or something. Towncrier.com. Check out Mark Delgado on the Salon stage on Saturday. On Sunday, on that same stage, 24 hours later, at Town Crier, you can check out Andy Stack. He's played with many great people. He's a great player himself. He'll be at the LocalMotion benefit concert on November 8th, and he'll also be at the Town Crier this Sunday on the Salon stage. For both of those gentlemen, you can visit towncrier.com, and that's town spelled with an E, crier.com, for information about both of those shows and this weekend's lineup. And speaking of which, what we're going to do now, because we're nearing the end of the show, we still have about 15 minutes, but it's time for musical happenings. I do this segment in the hopes that you go out and support some local live music, because we've got some pretty amazing venues, world-class venues right here in our neighborhood. You do not need to go to the city. They're right here in our backyard every day of the week. So here's some of what's going on in the Mid-Hudson Valley. Let's start in alphabetical order at the Assembly in Kingston. Tickets and info at assemblykingston.com. August 29th, Goldford. August 30th, J.D. Simo and Luther Dickinson. At the Bardavon and UPAC, info and tickets at bardavon.org. September 10th, the author Elizabeth Gilbert. September 16th, comedian Gary Goldman. September 19th, Cowboy Junkies. Bearsville Theater in Woodstock, also bearsvilletheater.com. August 21, Booker T. Jones. August 29, New York City Ska Orchestra. September 5, the Big Star Quintet. Bethel Woods Center. Tickets and info, bethelwoodscenter.org. August 22nd, Bonnie Raitt. August 25, Neil Young. Caramore in Katona and caramore.org. September 13th, the Bedford Music Festival. City Winery Hudson Valley in Montgomery, also at citywinery.com. August 22nd, the Hot Sardines. Colony in Woodstock and colonywoodstock.com. The Beer Garden is open. Please visit the website for a list of shows happening at the Beer Garden. Tonight in the Ballroom, Soul Patrol featuring Harvey Citron. Thursday, Jamie McLean Band. Friday, the Wags Beatles Spectacular. Saturday, the 30 Plus Party. Sunday, Leonard Peltier Fundraising Honor Day. And every Monday is an open mic at Colony Woodstock. Howland Chamber Music Series at Howland Cultural Center in Beacon. Tickets and info, howlandmusic.org. The opening concert, September 14th, Joseph Lynn and Friends with Beethoven Celebration. The Falcon in Marlborough and live at thefalcon.com. Tonight at the Falcon Underground, a Hudson Valley Jazz Jam. Thursday, Sun Little. Friday, closed for a private event. Saturday, Tom Freund and Friends. And Sunday, Sex Mob at the Falcon. Jazz Forum in Tarrytown. Info at jazzforumarts.org. August 22nd and 23rd, 2 shows each night featuring Spike Wilner Quartet. Maverick Concerts in Woodstock, also maverickconcerts.org. August 23rd, Chamber Orchestra Concert featuring Simone Dinnerstein. August 24th, the Copland House Ensemble. Opus 40 in Saugerties, opus40.org for tickets and info to Saturday's August 23rd Rock the Quarry Festival, featuring Jack Petrozelli, Gail Ann Dorsey, Cindy Cashdollar, Brian Mitchell, Jay Collins, and tons more. Tickets and info, opus40.org. The Stissing Center, Pine Plains, also at thestissingcenter.org. August 21st, Benji Kaplan. Tarrytown Music Hall in Tarrytown, also at tarrytownmusichall.org. September 4th, Michael Blaustein. September 5, One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. Town Crier in Beacon and towncrier.com. Every Thursday is an open mic. Friday on the Salon stage, William Sadler. On the main stage, Forever, Simon and Garfunkel, a tribute. Saturday on the Salon stage, Mark Delgado. Main stage, Broken Arrow, the music of Neil Young. Sunday brunch with the Lake Trio, and Sunday evening on the Salon stage, Andy Stack. Last but not least, the Summer Hoot at the Ashokan Center in Olive Bridge, August 22nd to the 24th. That's this Friday through Sunday. 2 stages, 3 days of music, nature, and community. Tickets and info at hoot.love. And that's what I've got today on Musical Happenings. It is 5:49. We have 10 more minutes, so I'm so thrilled. I haven't put it on social media yet, but I'm announcing it now. Next week's guest is Rachel Yamagata. Another first-time guest here. I am so thrilled to share her music with this audience. And she's coming out with a new album that's being released on October 3rd, and she's released one track that I can play for you. And I have fallen in love with this track. I hope you all enjoy it as well. Let's take a listen to this one. It's called Birds by Rachel Yamagata here on 91.3.
Send me a sign and I'll pass it on as best as I can to the broken man who doesn't quite believe yet. But he's coming along 'cause he knows that he needs you. Oh, he needs you now. Drop me a line from an old friend and I'll know what to do. All these messages from you, it makes you think. He said, I had a dream of her last night and I never do. Oh, I miss her so, especially now when the world has gone so crazy. It's just so damn unfair to have to bear it on your own. You always made us laugh, and I'll remind him of that. The birds are flying to my window. I'll make sure he knows. Yeah, I'll make sure he knows. All of this time we have held on, it's the best we can do. We are making it through, and it makes you think, what'll I do with all this time that I never do? Oh, I miss her too, especially now when the world has gone so crazy. I know it feels unfair to have to bear it on your own. You always made us laugh, and I'll remind him of that. The birds are flying to my window, saying how when it feels so low. I'll make sure he knows. Oh, what's been going on? You're watching from the trees, saying my dear, don't forget to love everything. And I'm still here, especially now when the world has gone so crazy. I know it feels unfair to have to bear it on your own. Yeah, there is a wonder.
In my dreams, I'm in Neverland. These walls don't mean a thing. I'm in Neverland. I'm in Neverland.
And I can climb into your pockets, walk the streets of my nightmares. I can feel it when you're moving. I am here, I am there, and I won't fall down. I won't fall down. No battles, kings or queens. This is holy ground. And I'm a willing refugee in a fearless town. Shadows can be light if you learn to see that there is nothing wrong or right about you and me.